building approvals drop by over 15%. Let's have a look. Good afternoon everyone, Florian Heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Now I was just checking on trading economics because I'm keeping my eye on it. I want to follow the cash rate. When I saw the building approvals data had come out, it had slipped my mind that it was coming out today. I know I wanted to look at it because I'm quite interested to see if the cash rate cut will come through. And the building approval data is bad. It is crashed by over 15%. Over 15%, guys. And I will bring up the chart here and you can see dwelling units approved. Look at that plunge, the seasonally adjusted plunge. So the trend is slightly up, but seasonally adjusted, it is much lower. Now, I'm sure there are a lot of people in the industry that would not be surprised by this happening. Let us know in the comments, guys. Is this surprising to you? Because the biggest thing is, and I need to have a drink, bear with me. The biggest thing is that it was unexpected. And we'll read through what they're writing here on trading economics. So the number of dwellings approved in Australia unexpectedly plunged 15.3% month over month in January 2020. Now, are you one of those that thinks this is unexpected, or are you not that surprised? I can't say it's that unexpected for me. Compared with market expectations of a 1% increase after an upward revised 3.9% gain in the previous month. So the market was expecting an increase in the number of dwelling approvals by 1% when we got a 15% plunge. This marked the steepest decline in building permits since a 22.1% fall in December 2017, mainly due to a slump in approvals for private sector dwellings, excluding houses, down 35.5% versus 8% in December. In contrast, building permits grew for private sector houses 0.3 versus 1%. And we can scroll down here and you can see the forecast, trading economics, 0.8 up, the consensus was 1% up, and the actual was 15.3 down. 15.3 down. Let's have a look at the media release from the ABS, and they've titled it "Dwelling Approvals Moderate in January." Does it seem moderate to you? A seasonal adjusted 15% decline month on month, worse than all expectations, but I guess that's the spin they're putting on it. So the number of dwellings approved rose 0.5% in January in trend terms, according to data released by the Australian Bureau of Statistics. So ABS Director of Construction Statistics Daniel Rossi said the rise was driven by private sector houses, which rose 0.8% in trend terms. Meanwhile, private sector dwellings excluding houses fell 0.1%. A significant fall in the number of apartments approved in January has offset the strength recorded in late 2019. So the bottom is falling out of the apartment and multi-res sector. Is that surprising to anyone, considering the number of issues the apartment sector has had in Australia last year? And that's an investor sector, guys. So this morning we were looking at the drive up in property, but it doesn't seem to be universal. I mean, look at the unit price growth. Across the state and territories, dwelling approvals rose in the ACT, 7.3%, Victoria, 2.8%, and the Northern Territory, 2.7%. Falls were recorded in Tasmania of 3.7%, South Australia, 3.4%, Western Australia 2%, New South Wales 0.8%, and Queensland 0.7% in trend terms. Approvals for private sector houses increased in Victoria by 2.6%, Western Australia 2%, and Queensland 0.6%. South Australia was 0.4%, and private house approvals in New South Wales fell 2.1% in trend terms. And here we go, the seasonally adjusted estimate for total dwelling approvals fell 15.3% in January, driven driven by a 35.5% decrease in private dwellings excluding houses. A third. Now you have to realize construction is a large employer in our economy. A large employer in our economy. A large part of the workforce is employed in construction. And a large part of the audience of this channel are also related or into construction in one way or another. So this could have significant ramifications. There could be a lot of businesses that are slowing down, a lot of people that are letting staff go, a lot of tradies that are out of work. This is largely due to weakness in approvals for apartments, which is volatile from month to month, especially in Victoria. The value of total building approved rose 0.3% in January in trend terms after falling for 6 months. The value of residential building rose 0.1%, while non-residential building increased 0.4%. So, what do you think, guys? Are you surprised by a 15.3% decline in January, or what about this 35.5% decrease in essentially apartment buildings and units? Can't say I'm overly surprised at that. Let's have a look at, this is the building approval numbers. We'll just zoom here so you can see it. So, number of total dwellings, the trend estimate rose 0.5 in January, and you can see here the trend and seasonally adjusted. Look at that fall there, seasonally adjusted. Number of private sector houses, and that ever so slightly has risen by 0.8 in January. But look how far it's down from July. And weren't certain economists or pundits saying that the bushfires will be good for the economy because you have all these houses getting built? Guys, look at how many houses are normally just approved in a month. And we're down. Look at how much it was before. Think about it. It used to be 10,000, so now we're sitting between 8 and 9. So overall, 18, 17, 15, 14, we're down nearly 20%. The number of private sector dwellings excluding housing. And here, there you go. You can look at that. That's a big plunge right there. That's a big plunge right there, guys. And even overall, too, we're sitting here about, 6? And then 9. So overall, if you look at the long-term figures, the trend's heading down, isn't it? So, do you think this construction sector may be in a bit of a recession, guys? The trend estimate for private sector dwellings excluding houses fell 0.1%. The value of new residential building. Okay, so you can see here we had 15, 16, 17, it was going up, and now it's heading down. And I will bring up a chart that I quite like. You can see here, this is foreign investment into construction on building approvals. Look at this shot, this up here, 14, 15. Look at that climbing up. That's nearly over 90%. And we can see here, and also increase in the value of new residential building. It stimulated it, guys. It stimulated that part. The value of alterations and additions, so they've slightly gone up. The trend estimates for the value of alterations and additions to residential buildings rose 0.3 in January for 10 months. The value of non-residential building, it rose 0.4 in January. A little bit. And what we have here, this is the dwelling units approved for state level. Private sector houses and total dwelling units. So the trend estimate for total number of dwelling units in New South Wales fell 0.8 in January. The trend estimate for the number of private sector housing fell 2.1 in January. So those of you in the game in New South Wales, let us know in the comments. Is this reflective, or are you starting to see this in your forward orders? And remember, this is just January. These are approvals, guys. These are approvals. This is not contingent on like the supply of materials or imported materials from overseas suppliers that may be delayed. This is like architects and draftspeople preparing the documentation so building approvals can get done. So then the next stage, a bit further down, a bit of a flow on. So a forerunner to the next step of construction where the building actually happens. So there's a bit of a delay before the rest of the economy will experience this. or the rest of the construction sector will experience it. But you can see we've been trending down. Victoria, the total number of dwelling units approved in Victoria rose 2.8% in January. The trend estimate for the number of private sector houses rose 2.6% in January. Queensland, the trend estimate for the total number of dwelling units approved in Queensland fell 0.7%. And for the private sector houses rose 0.6%. SA, dwelling units fell 3.4%. You can see here. Private sector houses rose 0.4%. So, Queensland's starting out, dwelling units are going down. We're heading closer to 2,000 where they used to be sitting around 4. Private sector houses started to dip as well a little bit, not as significantly. Look at South Australia, it seems pretty sedate really over this period. But just look at the numbers, guys. South Australia, 1,000 dwelling units, not even 1,000 houses in South Australia per month, guys. So you can get a good understanding of the scale of the different economies of these states just by this bar too in the construction sector. Western Australia, here we can see everything is overall trending down. While they're saying private sector houses rose 2%, but compare this to a few years ago. Look at that there. Houses were getting close to 2,000, now they're down 50% over that time. And we've also had population increase in those periods. Maybe Western Australia, are they getting people leaving the state? I'd have to look that up. Maybe the West Australians can tell me. So, that's it, guys. That's it. Building approvals are down over 15%. And the ABS says it's, dwellings approvals are moderate in January. I guess, they don't want to make anything sensational, particularly with the way the market is at the moment. What do you think? Please let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below, guys. And I'm keeping my eye on the cash rate, and I will do a video once that comes out today. But yes, thank you all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and you want to help me produce content like this, there's a few ways you can. The easiest way is to watch, like, and share the videos. Help it get out there, help more people learn about the channel. You can also support us by joining the channel here on YouTube or joining us on Patreon for a small monthly donation. We have affiliate links for Independent Reserve and Kucoin for the crypto traders out there. We receive a small share of the fee that you have to pay anyway. We also have affiliate links with Amazon and eBay, where if you make a consumer purchase, we receive an advertiser's commission that doesn't cost you anything. We also have pocket squares that are handmade here in this very house. You can find them on the HeiseSays website in the pinned comment below. And finally, PayPal if you want to support us that way. I appreciate everyone's help. Thank you all very much, guys. Have a great day, and I will see you later this afternoon. Bye for now.